We now meet with Notker Wolf. He's the Abbot Primate of the Benedictine Confederation, the Supreme Benedictine Ministry. Abbot Primate, today you will take part in a keynote panel which offers an outlook on the developments and core themes of the coming decade. What are some of the core themes that you see and the developments that you see with regards to that?
We will have a lot of themes in technology, genetic technology and so on, but being religious, I should like to insist on two things which will be important for the next decade, although we didn't think about it. First thing is religion as kind of identity of a nation, for example. And up to the past century, to the middle of the past century, I would say Christianity took over big part of the world and was growing more and more. But at that time, like Senghor with the Negritude in West Africa, they started to reflect, all the peoples, all the cultures started to reflect about their own values of their cultures. And so a great resistance came up. You find now the Muslims, you find the Hindus, also the Tibetan identity, the big problem in China. So how can we live together by insisting in the values of our own culture? I would say there's only one way, it's dialogue. But in the same time, we must appreciate each other. Dialogue doesn't mean that we find the lowest or smallest common denominator and say, now we are all one. We need a new pattern or new paradigm of unity of the world. And I think the most beautiful pattern or the most beautiful paradigm of unity is the unity in plurality. That we see it's a mutual enrichment that we are so different. And not that we all have to think one and we all have to have just one culture. Up to now it was the American culture, and maybe then we shall get the Chinese culture, which I'm finding in Africa already everywhere. It's incredible how the Chinese take over Africa. And this will be the second point. Now, China will come up more and more, and we shall see what they are getting stronger and stronger. They are going on like a bulldozer. The Americans try to hold them, but I'm in business with China for 25 years. I always said, listen, forget about. You must see they are. They want to find back to their own power they had in the Middle Ages, let me say, and they will do what they think is necessary. They are just looking for their power. Now, there's oppression. There is in their country there is no democratical freedom and so on, and they say even this kind of freedom is the source of all the problems in the West, of drug, of abuse, of all terrorist cases. If you would have a strict control, as we have it in the power of our party, then we would be far better, and the economic success would increase. And I'm sure they try to impose their position in the next decade also to other countries. On the other hand, I'm sure on the long run, only the appreciation of human dignity will succeed.
You count as a strong advocate of freedom and self-dependence of the individual, as opposed to influences of the state on the individual. And in the recent crisis, in the last 2 years, we've seen a shift between business, economy, and the state. What is your view on that?
Yes, basically, I'm against this interference of the state in business, also in banks. But this means that bankers and businessmen, entrepreneurs, have to take over their own responsibility. If they are not succeeding to control themselves, then the state has to control them. And that's a pity that they show, because of their greed and other things. If you think of some investors, what has happened in the past, then the people are screaming, we have to control them. But if their real obligation would be, their real duty would be to be so far to say, listen, it's my dignity to control myself. And it should be the dignity of the entrepreneurs also to control themselves, to behave as human beings.
Yes. In some parts of the developed world, the church is also standing in front of serious challenges regarding the future and the next decade in terms of the members of the church. And what is your view on that? What are some of the challenges? And how can you count as someone who also finds very fresh approaches to attracting young people, for example, to the church? What is your view and what is your approach to that?
I would say to live out the message of the gospel of Jesus. This will attract many young people, there is no doubt. And we should become more a church or churches of conviction and not so much as an institution. Young people like to be somewhere at home, and this should be the churches. But on the other hand, if we look now again on, would say, on the number of the members, on statistics, I wanted to say, I think Muslims will become stronger and stronger in our society just because of the number of their sisters, of the demographic situation. And on the other hand, as you have seen now in Germany, we have a Muslim minister now in Niedersachsen. It's very interesting. I think we have to find together, we have, even when they are living in Europe and are born in Europe, I do hope that they integrate into our society. That doesn't mean that they have to deny their faith. Even a strong, faithful woman or man is for me always, also as a Christian, a very good challenge.
Now, the core theme of this symposium is on entrepreneurship.
Yes.
What do you think entrepreneurs and the church can learn from each other?
I think church has to get more enculturated into entrepreneurship without being the big entrepreneur, but also to feel with them, to talk with them, to train their own responsibility they have as entrepreneurs for the other people.
Right. So how do you like the dialogue here and the dialogue between young people, the younger generation? And
I enjoy it very much. I must say, this is for me always the most beautiful thing, as I have it in SantAnselmo. I'm also there, the great chancellor of our university. I'm living together with them to be with young people. That's challenging, that's cheerful and joyful.
Great. Thank you very much, Abbot Primate.
Yes.